on Friday, and remaining 4 are shown as lectures. Okay, so I won't be taking from Monday to Thursday all 4 days as lectures. Okay, Monday to Wednesday will be planned as lectures, and on Thursday will be the mostly will be taking a tutorial. Okay, but sometimes I may take it as a lecture also, or we could use Thursdays as a day to solve your difficulties. Okay, so let's see how the things work out, and if the timetable keeps changing in between also, it may change also again. Let's see. Okay, so uh, let's start with today's topic. So in the last few lectures from last week, I started with a new topic, that was mobile transport layer, and we discussed in the last week what are the different layers in the mobile transport layer. It's basically the TCP IP model, the 4 different layers, what are the functionalities of each of the layers. And then we had started basically last lecture with the sliding window protocol. We were looking at flow control, what is the meaning of flow control, and what is an example one method in that. Okay, so we saw how the sliding window protocol works, and we had come to the conclusion basically that in a wired network, if packets are lost, then packets are lost mainly because of congestion. Okay, so this is the basic assumption, that when packets are lost in a wired TCP, okay, then it is mainly due to congestion. But in a wireless network, you could lose packets due to many more reasons. One of the reasons could be because of congestion. The second reason could be just because of mobility. Okay, so you could be moving around from one network to another, one tower to another, or there may be noise, or the switching from one tower to another tower may result in the TCP connection getting disconnected. So there were other reasons in wireless networks due to which packets could be lost. So we could not make the same assumption that we used to make in wired networks. In wired networks, what we used to do, if packets are lost, we would start working with some congestion control methods, or we would start with congestion avoidance techniques. Okay, so in wireless, we cannot assume that just because a packet is lost, that we should start doing congestion techniques. Okay, congestion control techniques or congestion avoidance techniques. But in wired, we could have done that. Okay, so I'm emphasizing this point. Okay, please get it into your minds that in wired, if packets are lost, then TCP could start with congestion control or congestion avoidance methods. But in wireless, we cannot assume that a packet is lost only because of congestion. There could have been other reasons. So if suppose, like for example, you are having a problem with your ears, okay, and you go to your doctor, so your doctor cannot give you treatment for eyes, if you're having problem with ears. So the same way, in a wireless network, if the problem is not due to congestion, we cannot start congestion avoidance methods or congestion control methods. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you. So basically, we need to identify what would have been the actual reason and then possibly take action. Okay, so TCP needs to be modified in wireless networks. Okay, because the packets could be lost for so many other reasons, like you can see on this slide that I have explained last time. Okay, since I've explained last time, I'm not going through all these reasons, but if anyone wants me to explain any reason, you can just let me know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let me know. Any of these reasons you need me to explain again before I start with a new topic? Okay, let's continue then. So basically now we will see how to improve the TCP. We have identified that since packets could be lost due to various other reasons in a wireless network, we cannot use the same TCP in wired and wireless. Okay, so we need to improve the TCP. Okay, so first we'll look at how TCP works in wired networks if congestion happens. Okay, and then we'll go one by one into the different techniques that wireless networks uses, or how the TCP has been improved for wireless networks. Okay, how it has been slightly modified for wireless networks. So today's lecture we are going to look at the wired network, how TCP works when a congestion happens in the network. Okay. So basically under this topic, like I told you, we'll look at the traditional networks and TCP in mobile networks. Okay. So in mobile networks, we'll be looking at single hop networks and multi-hop networks. Okay. So single hop networks could be like your LANs, wireless LANs, and multi-hop networks examples could be your mobile ad hoc networks. Okay. So basically this is what we'll be looking at. So let's look at all the methods that we use in our traditional networks. Okay. Just 1 minute, I'll come back. Okay, sorry for that. So basically we are going to look today at the different ways in which TCP handles congestion. Okay, so first we'll be looking at a method known as slow start, then we'll see congestion avoidance, then we'll see fast transmit and fast recovery. And this third, actually in the third point you can see there are two different methods, but both of them work with each other. Okay, so they are to be used with each other, otherwise it won't work so well. Okay, so let's see whether how much we can cover of these three methods. So let's start today. So remember that these methods are going to be used only when packets are going to be lost. Okay, so if packets are lost, then TCP starts with these methods. Okay, so in other words, slow start is to be used when congestion happens. Okay, slow start is to be used when congestion is detected in the network. The second method, congestion avoidance, is a continuation of slow start. Okay, it is to be used after slow start. Okay, so I will explain this. Fast retransmit and fast recovery are to be used when there is not congestion but some packets have been lost. Okay, so if you're noting down, you can just note down what I just told you. Slow start is to be used when congestion detected in the network. Okay, congestion avoidance is actually a part of slow start, so it is not actually a different method, but since in your textbook it is mentioned like that, I have mentioned it as a separate one. It's a continuation of slow start. And the third technique, that is a fast retransmit and fast recovery, is used not during congestion but when some packet is lost but there is no congestion in the network. Okay, so let's start by looking at what is slow start. So basically, like I told you, slow start method is used by TCP when TCP has recognized congestion. Okay, so it could recognize congestion due to various reasons, like there would be a timer that is expired. Okay, timed out. Okay, acknowledgements have not come within that fixed timer that was sent. Whenever a sender sends a packet, he sets some timer. During that timer, the acknowledgement should come within that time. Okay, so if within that time the acknowledgement does not come, then maybe the TCP will identify that as a congestion. Okay, or some other way, like duplicate acknowledgements start coming, or like that some kind of it has to keep frequently retransmitting packets. Okay, so it will use all these things to identify congestion. So basically slow start is used by TCP to reduce the network load. Okay, so basically when a congestion has already happened in the network, then slow start is used. So slow start will basically attempt to reduce the load in the network. So it is basically a reaction. Okay, so it's a reaction to a condition that has happened, and the condition what has happened in the network is congestion. Okay, so slow start is a reactive method. It is used to reduce the network load. Okay, we don't want to frequently retransmit data because otherwise it will add to the congestion, and then the congestion will get even worse. Okay, so let's see how this slow start works. So basically, I hope you can see this diagram here. Okay, we are having here on this side the sender here. This is the sender. This is the receiver. Okay, now the entire TCP connection establishment mechanism is not shown here. Okay, just whatever is needed for you to understand slow start, only that much is shown in the diagram. Okay, so there is a sender and there is a receiver. So whenever the sender and receiver is going to communicate with each other through this method of slow start, there is something known as a congestion window which is started. Okay, initially the value of the congestion window, in this diagram we are calling the congestion window CW and D. CW and D is nothing but your congestion window. Okay, it is the amount of data that a sender can send. Okay, CW and D is nothing but congestion window, and it stands for the amount of data that the sender can send. So initially in slow start, the congestion window is always set equal to 1. So in slow start, TCP sets the congestion window always equal to 1. So the meaning of this is, the first time the sender can send only one packet. Okay, you can send one packet and wait for the acknowledgement to come within that timer that it sets. If the acknowledgement comes within that timer, then this congestion window will be doubled. Okay, it will be doubled. So for example, here you can see TCP has set the congestion window equal to 1 here. So that means the sender will send one segment, one data segment. So you can see here the sender sends this data segment and it sets the timer. Okay, the timer is nothing but something known as a round trip time. The round trip time is the amount of time it takes for the segment to reach the receiver and for the acknowledgement to be received by the sender. Okay, so the acknowledgement for that segment has to reach within this allotted time. So this time is nothing but known as your round trip time. So in response to this, if this segment is received successfully by the receiver will give an acknowledgement for that segment. Okay, so since this acknowledgement reaches within that specified timer, the window, the congestion window is doubled. Okay, so the congestion window will be now set equal to 2. So that means, what is the meaning of this now? When congestion window value is equal to 2, it means now the sender can send 2 packets and wait for their acknowledgements to arrive. Okay, so the sender will send these 2 packets, and when both the acknowledgements arrive, it will double the congestion window, and it will keep doing like this. Okay, it will keep doubling the congestion window like this. So let's look at the further in the diagram. So since now the congestion window is equal to 2, the sender will send 2 data segments. Okay, so you can see here in the black. Okay, it will send the first data segment and second data segment. So in response to these segments, the receiver will acknowledge them. Okay, it will acknowledge the first one and the second one. So as soon as these both acknowledgements are received by the sender, the congestion window can be doubled. So from 2, the congestion window will be set to 4. Okay. So that means, what is the meaning of this 4 now? That means sender can send now 4 data segments. Okay. It can send 4 data segments and wait for the acknowledgements to arrive. So you can see here in the diagram, the sender is sending 4 data segments. Okay. The first one, second one, third and fourth. And in response to these 4 segments, the receiver will be acknowledging them. Okay. As soon as the sender receives the 4 acknowledgements, what the sender will do? It will double the congestion window. So from 4, the congestion window will be doubled and it will become 8. That means now what the sender can do? Sender can send 8 data segments. So after sending 8 data segments, it will wait for the acknowledgements to arrive. Okay. So the moment 8 acknowledgements arrive for these packets, it will again double this window and make it 16. And like this, it will keep on doubling the congestion window. Okay. So when all the acknowledgements are received for the packets that were sent, the congestion window is doubled. Okay. So initially, the number of data segments that are sent by the sender is small. But as you can see, as the window keeps on doubling, the number of data packets that will be sent will be rising exponentially. Okay. So as the window doubles, number of packets that are being sent will be rising at a very fast rate, at a very exponential rate. So because it starts with only one segment, it starts very slowly. Therefore, the name is slow start. Okay. Name is slow start because we start with sending one data segment, then we double it to 2, then to 4, 8, 16, 32 and so on. Okay. You keep on doubling it. The question is, for how long will you keep on doubling this congestion window? How long can you double this congestion window? Okay. So the answer to that is, we can double this congestion window until we reach something known as a threshold. Okay. There's a value which is set, which is known as the threshold value. Okay. So until you hit the threshold value, this congestion window can be continuously doubled. The moment you hit the threshold window, the doubling of the congestion window stops. Okay. So this is how basically your slow start works. Okay. You can just read here. This is what I explained you. So this procedure will continue as long as the congestion window is below the threshold, and the acknowledgements keep coming before the timeout happens. Okay. The acknowledgements keep coming before the timeout happens. Now my question to you all is, if the acknowledgements do not come before the timeout happens, then what you assume in the network? What has happened in the network? Suppose the acknowledgements are not coming before the timer expires, then what do you think must have happened in the network? We are talking about wired networks. I have already answered this point. If anyone can tell me, if suppose the acknowledgements are not coming in time before the timer expires, what must have happened in the network? Now this is your computer network subject question, nothing to do with mobile computing. Can anyone tell me? Yes, correct, yes. The packets must be getting lost due to congestion. Okay, the packets must be not being received at the receiver's end. So because the packets are not being received at the receiver's end, maybe the receiver is not sending any acknowledgements. Okay, that could be one of the reasons. So therefore, the acknowledgements are not coming to the sender before the timer expires. Okay, so this is just for you for knowledge. I had asked you the question. Okay, so if the acknowledgements are not coming before the timer expires, maybe the packets are getting lost due to congestion, or the acknowledgements are getting lost due to congestion. Okay, so any doubts about the slow start? Anyone? Any of you has any difficulty with slow start? You can let me know. I can explain it to you again if you want. Okay, one more question that they may ask you in your exams or in your Viva is, what's the difference between this method that you have learned today with the sliding window protocol? You have learned the slow start method today. Okay, what is the difference between the slow start and the sliding window protocol that you studied in the previous lecture? Both are quite similar, but what is the difference? There are some differences. Yes, I will let you know about this answer. Yeah, good question that is. This is a good question. I'll let you know. So yeah, students, I was asking you, do you all know, can you all identify the differences between sliding window protocol and slow start? Or you can just search this answer for yourselves and know this answer. Okay, just note down this question that I asked you. What is the difference between sliding window protocol and slow start? Now to answer Yoshi's question, Yosh has asked, what happens on timeout of packet? Does the CWND, that is a congestion window, get reset to 1? Yes. The answer to that is, suppose TCP is using slow start, okay, and it notices that timeout is happening. Acknowledgements are not getting received in time, then it will activate slow start. Okay, when it activates slow start, again your congestion window will start from 1. Okay, so congestion window will start from 1, so it will always start from 1, so it gets reset, you can say. Okay, so whenever your TCP will notice, for whatever reason, congestion, it will start your congestion window from 1. Okay, if it is employing the slow start mechanism. Okay, I'm emphasizing that if TCP is using slow start as the congestion control method, then it will always start from the window as equal to 1. Okay, so I hope that has answered Yoshi's question. Any other question before I proceed? Okay, let's continue then. So this is again the same thing that I would explain to you. Just go through this. Anything you don't understand, you can let me know. I explained to you how the window increases exponentially. And I told you also when the exponential increase of the window will stop. Okay. Now, like I told you, the slow start will stop when the congestion window size will exceed the value of the threshold. Okay. So once the congestion window size is larger than the value of threshold, the congestion window will increase linearly. Okay. The congestion window size will increase linearly and not exponentially. Okay. So suppose, just for example, say the threshold value was 32. Okay. Then the moment the threshold is hit by the congestion window, then next size of the congestion window will be not double of it, but it will be increased by 1. So the size of it will be 33. Okay. Then if there is no congestion detected, then the size will be increased to 34. No congestion detected, 35, and so on. Okay. So that is the meaning of the congestion window will increase linearly. Okay. I hope you're getting that, what I just said. Okay. How that 32 will go to 33? After 32 data packets are sent, it will wait for 32 acknowledgements. Okay. And since that is the threshold, instead of doubling now, the threshold, the window will be increased by 1. It will be increased to 33. 33 data packets will be sent. Then we will wait for 33 acknowledgements. Once it gets 33 acknowledgements, then it will increase the window to 34. Send 34 data segments, wait for 34 acknowledgements. Even if one of the packets or some packets acknowledgements are lost, then the window will be reset to 1. Okay. Therefore, this is what is written in the last line. The window will grow linearly rather than exponentially. Once the threshold is hit. Okay. Remember, the window will only grow linearly after the threshold has been hit. Before the threshold, the window is doubled. So this is the second phase of avoidance. So basically, congestion avoidance is a continuation of slow start. Okay. So the moment the slow start, the congestion window hits the threshold. Okay. The part of the congestion control that gets activated is known as congestion avoidance. Okay. So what I told you about the linear part is what is actually basically about congestion avoidance. What it will do is, it will take the same congestion window that we were talking about with slow start, and it will increase it linearly, like I just mentioned. Okay. So if the threshold was 32, then the window will be increased to 33 just by increase by 1. Send 33 data packets, wait for 33 acknowledgements. So that part of it, when that congestion control is happening, is known as congestion avoidance. So basically it starts when slow start stops. By slow start stopping, we mean when slow start, the doubling of the congestion window stops. Okay. The correct word, the sentence here would be when the doubling of the congestion window in slow start would stop. That is when congestion avoidance starts. Okay. So in congestion avoidance, the window is increased linearly and not doubled. Okay. And if congestion happens, then we again start with slow start. Okay. We again start with slow start. So since we are not doubling the rate of the window, So therefore, automatically the transmission rate is reduced. Okay. So if congestion would happen, then they would also, what they would try to do, like I would explain you in the next part in fast recovery, the congestion window could be also reduced to half the window size. Okay. So just I'll avoid this third point here because you will get confused. Okay. Basically just ignore this third point here and just look at the fourth point. Okay. So by fourth point, it means that if suppose a congestion has been detected, okay, by meaning of it reaches 0, it means is suppose no acknowledgements are being received, okay, or the timer is expiring, then we say that the slow start will happen. So basically congestion avoidance means the congestion window is being increased linearly and not being doubled. Okay. And if still when you're increasing the congestion window linearly and if you detect congestion, then you begin with slow start again. So any doubts about this congestion avoidance? Okay, let's go to the next method then. Okay, I'll give you to read these slides later on after I explain you an example. So the third method is fast retransmit and fast recovery. Basically both these methods, there are two different methods, but both of the methods have to be used with each other. Okay, then only the TCP works well. Okay, so basically remember how your TCP works. Okay, remember how your TCP works. Before I explain you this, let's just revise how your TCP works. Then it will become easier for you to understand this. So suppose this is your sender, okay, and suppose this is your receiver. So this is your sender, this is your receiver. Okay. So say your sender sends one data packet. Okay. Say it has sent the data packet as 1. Okay. So in response to the data packet, in order to indicate that it has received the packet successfully, the receiver will send one acknowledgement. Okay, it will send one acknowledgement. So this is the acknowledgement which is sent to the sender. When the sender gets the acknowledgement, it can send more packets. Okay, so suppose when the sender sends another packet, so the second one, this packet is lost. This packet is lost. Okay, the sender then sends the third one. The third packet has been received successfully by the receiver. Okay, third packet has been received successfully. Say the sender sends a fourth packet. Fourth packet also has been received successfully. Sender sends a fifth packet. Fifth packet also is received successful. Okay, so now look at this example. Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions so that I want to know how much you all have understood or how much you all remember your TCP. Okay, and Yash, if you know the answers, then please wait, let someone answer. If no one else can answer, then you can try. Okay, I want someone else to try. Okay, it's voluntary, don't worry, I won't take any names. So you can just, if you remember, you answer. Otherwise I will give someone else, anyone, whoever wants to answer, or in the worst case I will only answer. Okay, so the first question to you all is, okay, what will TCP do? Now see, you can see here in this example very clearly, the packet number 1 has been received, packet number 3, 4 and 5 has been received, packet 2 has been lost. Okay, so now my question is, how the receiver will tell the sender that it has not got the packet 2? Okay, before I ask this question, tell me whether there's congestion or not in the network. Looking at this diagram in the present state, is there congestion in the network? Please answer in the chat, whoever knows the answer. Yash also you can answer. Is there congestion in the network? Okay, Prathamesh says yes. Anyone else agrees with Prathamesh? Quickly. Let's try to clarify your this doubt before I go to fast retransmit. So, anyone agrees? Sakshi, do you all agree? Shubham, is there congestion? Is there congestion in the network? Aditya, Abhishek, Akash, is there congestion? Elston? Okay. Yash, what do you think, Yash? Is there congestion? Princey, is there congestion? Dipesh, Gauri? Is there congestion in the network? Is there congestion in the network? Okay. So the correct answer is there's no congestion in the network. Okay, there's no congestion in the network. So let me explain to you why I'm saying this. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, this is just a basics. I'm actually revising your CN, but okay, this is just your CN. Okay, so let me try to explain to you why there's no congestion. Okay, see now, if there was a congestion in the network, okay, if there was a congestion, see this packet got lost. Why it got lost, we don't know, but this packet has not been received by the receiver. Okay, let me take a different color. This packet somehow did not go to the receiver. Okay, now if there was a congestion at this point in the network, okay, if there was a congestion, this packet also should have got lost. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Okay, suppose you're going from Margaon to Panjim. Okay, if there's a traffic jam at Kottalim, okay, say there's a heavy traffic jam for whatever reason, can even a single car pass through that side? Okay, or only one car will be blocked? I'm just asking a very simple question. If there's you're going from Margaon to Panjim, okay, and say at Kottalim, and say there's only one road, and say there are no shortcuts and all, and say there's traffic jam at Kottalim. Okay, so if there's a traffic jam at Kottalim,
So can't hear you.
can't hear me. Is it a problem only with I think this was Sahili, or is it with everyone? Others can hear
So
me.
yeah, I can hear now. So yeah, now it's clear. Now it's clear.
So yeah, your voice had become soft for a few moments. Now it's become clear.
But when I started with this example, could you all hear me, or do you want me to start from the start?
So can't hear again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now it's become soft
So it's
again,
very
sir.
Is it soft now again? I mean, just let me know you can hear me. Then I will start explaining again. Can you hear me, students?
So it's very soft.
so it's
Sir.
very low.
It's low. Is it better now? Is it better?
So we cannot hear you. So it's very soft.
No, sir.
Can't hear. Okay, I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Then I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can start. Can you hear me now? Students, can you hear me?
It's very low, sir. Volume is very low.
But if
It's very soft. Can't hear properly.
can't hear. It started just now. I mean,
Okay, now it's become okay, sir.
it's become
So
better.
yeah, now it's fine.
So I think I'll continue
It's
with the
fine, sir.
example.
It's perfect now.
So okay. So students, what I was asking you was, I was just telling you was, suppose we are going from Margao to Panjim by car, say, okay, and there's a traffic jam at Kortalim, okay, and there is no other roads to Panjim, assume there are no shortcuts, there are no other roads, okay. So we are going by the highway and there's only one road to Panjim. So if there's a traffic jam to Kortalim, okay, in Kortalim, say, will be able to pass, will one car be able to pass, or will one car be blocked and the other cars will be able to pass if there's a traffic jam? Yes, students? Suppose we were going from Margao to Panjim by car, okay, and there are many cars, no, obviously, which are going to Panjim, say, okay, and if a traffic jam has happened in Kortalim, will one car get blocked or will all cars get blocked if there's a traffic jam? Students, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Yes. So can you all try to answer? So what I was asking you, have you all heard me?
Yes, sir. We heard you, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Abhishek answered.
Yes. So can you all? Yes. All cars would get blocked, right? All cars would get blocked. Okay. So if there was a traffic jam, all cars will get blocked, and not just one car. Okay. So same concept applies here. Okay. Same concept applies here. If there was a congestion in the network, okay, if there was a congestion in the network, and say because of congestion, packet 2 got lost, okay, then packet 3 also would get lost because of congestion. But as you can see here in the diagram, packet 3 has got received. Okay. After packet 3, packet 4 also got received. Packet 5 also got received. So after packet 2, one packet got lost. After packet 2, 3 packets went across the network and all the 3 packets got received. So what that tells you? It tells you that there is no congestion in the network. Okay. Packet 2 got lost, but that is due to some other reason. Okay. Some network error. But there is no congestion in the network. Am I clear what I'm trying to tell you? Are you all clear what I just told you? So in this example here, okay, since packet 2 has got lost, that means packet 2 has got lost due to some error. Okay, it has got lost. There's no doubt about it. But there is some other error in the network, but not congestion. Okay. Why we are concluding like that? Because after packet 2, packet 3 has gone across, packet 4 has gone across, and packet 5 has gone across. Okay. And they have been successfully received here. So because they are going across, okay, so we conclude that there is no congestion. Okay. Still one part of the explanation is left. Okay. How the sender concludes that there is no congestion. I have not told you that part. But are you clear by what I'm telling you here? Okay. Are you clear? Are you getting my example? Are you getting my example? Prathamesh and Yash, I'll be coming to these things later on. Okay. I'll be coming to this later on. So till what I am telling you all about my example on congestion, are you clear why I'm saying there's no congestion? All of you who had answered that there's congestion in the network. Are you all clear? Okay. And the others also. Okay. Now, okay, looking at this, now the receiver wants to get that packet 2, no? It cannot simply continue with its work when it has got only packets 1, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. It has to tell the sender that it has not got packet 2. Okay. It has to tell the sender to retransmit packet 2. What it will do to retransmit the packet 2 is, okay, it will look before packet 2 what packet was transmitted. Okay. Before packet 2, which was the packet that was transmitted. So the packet that was transmitted before packet 2 was packet 1. Okay, packet 1 was the packet that it had received successfully and for which it has sent the acknowledgement. Okay, so in order to tell the sender, that the packet after this one has been lost. Okay, the packet after this one has been lost, what it will do is it will send an acknowledgement for packet 3 as acknowledgement. The number for packet 3 will be set as 1. Okay, so when it has received the packet 3, it will send the acknowledgement for packet 3 as 1. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? It means the sender will know that, okay, I had sent this third packet, okay, and the receiver is sending acknowledgement as 1. Okay, it is sending acknowledgement as 1, whereas it had to send acknowledgement as either 2 or it had to send acknowledgement as 3. But it is not, the receiver is not sending these two numbers as the acknowledgement. It is sending the acknowledgement as 1. So it could be that one of these two packets or both these packets are lost. Okay, it could be that one of these packets or both these packets are lost. Similarly, when the receiver gets packet 4, it should have sent acknowledgement as 4. Okay, but in order to tell that the packet after this one has been lost, okay, it will send acknowledgement here again as 1. It will send here acknowledgement again as 1. So the sender will know that it is getting duplicate acknowledgements now. Okay, it had got the original acknowledgement here. This is a duplicate acknowledgement. Okay, it's a duplicate acknowledgement for the packet 1. This is a duplicate acknowledgement for again packet 1. Okay, so now it will conclude when it gets this duplicate acknowledgement. Okay, that means since I'm getting these acknowledgements in response, okay, it is getting this acknowledgement 1 in response to which packet? Packet 3. So it will think that, okay, since this I'm getting this acknowledgement, that means this packet has been received. Okay, this packet has been received. But who has been lost? The packet before this and the packet after this. Okay. Similarly, when it gets the acknowledgement here, what it will conclude? Okay, this packet that I had sent, packet 4 has reached here. Packet 4 has reached here. Because packet 4 has reached here, the receiver is sending a acknowledgement. Okay, but the acknowledgement is not containing the value as 4. It is containing value as 1. So what it tells the sender? It tells the sender packet 4 has reached, but the packet after packet 1, okay, the packet after packet 1, which is that packet 2, has been lost. Okay, when it sends packet 5, again it gets an acknowledgement. Okay, so because the receiver is not getting packet 2, what the receiver will do? It will keep sending the acknowledgement of the packet that was received before the lost packet. Okay, because it is not yet getting this packet, what the receiver is doing? Receiver is sending the packet that was received before the packet was lost. So it is using this same number and sending acknowledgements. So it will send here acknowledgement again as 1. So when this acknowledgement is sent again as 1, what the receiver, as the sender comes to know, the packet 5, because it is getting an acknowledgement, it will conclude that packet 5 has reached here. Okay, but packet 2 has not yet been received. So it will wait for 3 duplicate acknowledgements. Okay, now these are duplicate acknowledgements. This was the original acknowledgement. Okay, these are duplicate acknowledgements. It will wait for 3 duplicate acknowledgements to arrive before it retransmits this packet. So then it will retransmit the packet 2. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to tell you? Okay, I'll just rub all this and tell you it. Just repeat it quickly again. Okay, this time by taking the help of all of you. Okay, so that to make sure that you have understood. Okay, so I'll just, if you don't mind and you have network connectivity, you can unmute yourselves and let me know. If you are having a network connectivity or you don't feel like answering, don't answer. Okay, but I'll take out some names. This is a sender and receiver. Okay, say the sender has sent this packet across. Okay, packet 1. Now you can see it has received successfully. Okay, what will be the reply of the receiver? The reply of the receiver will be a acknowledgement. So it will reply with the acknowledgement with the same sequence number. Okay, I'm now not going into the details of your TCP. I'm just telling what is needed for us. Okay, so it will reply with the acknowledgement for the same packet that it received. Okay, when it sends packet 2, it has sent the packet 2, it gets lost. Okay, a receiver has to tell the sender that it has not yet got the packet 2. So what it will do, it will wait for another packet to arrive. So when the third packet reaches successfully, what the receiver will do, it has to tell that packet 2 was lost. At the same time, it also wants to tell what, that packet 3 has arrived. Okay, it wants to tell that packet 2 has been lost and packet 3 has arrived. So in order to tell that packet 3 has arrived, obviously it will send one acknowledgement. Okay, it will send one acknowledgement. Okay, now if it would send, in the ideal case, it should have sent acknowledgement with the same number. Okay, in the ideal case, it received packet number 3, so it will send an acknowledgement with packet number 3. But this is not the ideal case. Okay, this is not the ideal case. Why? Because one packet has got lost here. Okay, so now it has to tell the sender two things because one packet has got lost. One thing what it has to tell, that packet has got lost. It has to tell that this packet is lost. Okay, this packet has got lost. And second thing what it has to tell, it has received this packet. Which packet it has received? It has received the third packet. It has received the third packet. So both these things it has to tell. So what it does, it looks before packet 2. Okay, before packet 2, which packet it received successfully? Packet 1. So it uses that acknowledgement number, same acknowledgement number. Okay, when it uses the same acknowledgement number and sends the acknowledgement, it will tell the sender that this packet, the third packet, has been received. Okay, and because the acknowledgement number is no longer now 3, it should have been 3 or it should have been 2 if it was acknowledging the previous packet, but it is not any of these two numbers. It is which number? It is this number for which it had already got the acknowledgement. It had got the acknowledgement here. Okay, it's a duplicate acknowledgement. So when it receives a duplicate acknowledgement like this, okay, it will wait for another 2 duplicate acknowledgements. Okay, like I told you, and when it gets 3 duplicate acknowledgements, it will conclude that, what it will conclude? That packet 2 has been lost and that packet needs to be retransmitted. Am I clear? Okay, is it clear, students, what I'm trying to tell you, how your TCP works if suppose packets are getting lost? Okay, but there is no congestion. Packets are getting lost, but there is no congestion. Is it clear, students?
So, what if the packet 1 was lost?
It would retransmit it. It would wait for the timer to expire. Okay, it would wait for the timer to expire and it would retransmit. Here,
Okay, means
here,
it won't
okay,
be
let me,
transmitting
yeah,
2 and 3. right?
Here, let me add that we are assuming that the timer has not expired. Okay, we are assuming that packet 3 has been sending the packet 3's acknowledgement has been sent before the packet 1. Someone else is talking in between. Please mute yourselves. So here we are assuming that packet 1's timer has not yet expired. Okay. So before the packet 1's timer has expired, the other acknowledgements are coming. Are you getting what I'm trying to tell? So basically what I just told you, no, let's go through this quickly here. Okay. So see here, this is what I told you. Okay. So initially what we were doing, this is a slow start. Okay. This is a slow start. I set the congestion window equal to 1. I sent the first packet. Okay. I got the acknowledgement for it. Okay. I got the acknowledgement for it. So when I get the acknowledgement, I double the window. I send 2 segments. Okay. I send 2 segments. So when I get both the segments acknowledgement, I double the window and I start sending 4 segments. Okay. When I send 4 segments, like you can see here, one segment gets lost. One segment gets lost. So when this segment is lost, okay, like you can see here, which segment has been lost? The 4th segment. If you count from here, segment 1, 2 and 3 have gone successfully. The 4th one got lost. Okay. It's lost. Not congestion has happened. Some error happened. Okay. So, but the 5th, 6th and 7th went across. So now in order to tell the sender that 4th one has been lost, but others have come successfully. 5, 6, 7 has come successfully. What the receiver will do? It will look at the previous acknowledgement. Before 4, which acknowledgement is there? The 3rd one. Okay. So it will, in order to tell that 5 has come successfully, but 4 is lost, it will send for 5, it will send the acknowledgement as 3. Okay. Because that was the previous acknowledgement that came successfully or was sent successfully. Similarly for segment 6, it will acknowledge with the acknowledgement as 3. Okay, same reason. Similarly for segment 7, acknowledgement will be 3. So the moment you get 3 duplicate acknowledgements, okay, the sender gets 3 duplicate acknowledgements, it will retransmit the segment 4. So you can see here, the segment 4 gets retransmitted. Okay. So once this segment is retransmitted, the receiver will acknowledge segment 4. Okay. And then the window will be doubled and so on and so on. Okay. So basically what we do in fast retransmit is, instead of sending all the segments starting from 4, okay, instead of sending all the segments starting from 4, we try to retransmit only that segment that was lost in order to save the bandwidth. Therefore, the name is fast retransmit. Okay, fast retransmit is a modification of your TCP, your slow start. So basically, you are only retransmitting the segment if it is lost, and it is lost not due to congestion but due to some other error. There could be various errors in the network. So due to that, if it is lost, then we'll be doing fast retransmit. Okay, resending only that lost segment. You can just read here before we stop for today, and you can ask me any doubts if you have in the chat. Okay, gap meaning gap means I hope you understood that there's a acknowledgement gap. No, means packet 1 has been received, then the 3rd packet has been received, but the 2nd one was not received. So there's a gap in the acknowledgements. Okay, that is the meaning of that gap. Numbering is not continuous, so gap in that numbering. Okay, so if some of you are wondering why we need 3 duplicate acknowledgements before we retransmit, then the answer is here in this slide. You can just read this. Why we are not just using 1 or 2 duplicate acknowledgements. So the answer for that is in this slide. So one important thing that I forgot to mention is whenever retransmission happens, okay, then the congestion window is reduced by half. So for example here, okay, in this slide, we transmit the congestion window, see here was size was equal to 4. Okay, so when we do the retransmission, the next time the window size will be reduced by half. So the window size will be equal to 2. Okay, and that is known as fast recovery. I'll be coming to fast recovery in the next lecture. Okay, since it's time up. Actually, we could have finished it off today itself, but let's do it tomorrow. So basically, the last part of fast retransmission, wherein we reduce the window size by half, is known as fast recovery. Okay, why we are reducing it by half? Just think about it. Why we are not going back to 1? Why we are not making the window size equal to 1? Why we are just reducing the window size by half? If you just think about it, looking at this diagram, think about it with respect to this diagram. Okay, what is the significance of having the window size equal to 1? And why we are reducing the window size by only half? Why we are saying this thing, this last line? This is the meaning of this. I've already given out the answer, not directly, but I've already answered it today when I was explaining in the last 15 minutes. So if you all were listening, then you should have been able to catch it. Why we are not going back to window size of 1? Why we are just reducing the window size by half? Okay, if you don't get it, don't worry. Attend tomorrow's lecture and you will understand. So let's stop for today then. So this was fast retransmit. Any doubts about anything that you want? Anyone in today's lecture? Slow start, congestion avoidance, or fast retransmission? So Prathamesh, to answer your question, it won't happen like this. That one or two packets only will not get. If packets are getting lost, they'll all get lost continuously. So it won't happen that if you're sending some packets only, this thing will happen. Like you're saying. In that case, your TCP may retransmit all these packets starting from packet 2. Okay. So under those various methods that I have studied, it may just decide to retransmit everything from packet 2, assuming that there's a congestion from packet 2. Okay. Fast retransmission is used only when there's a single packet. Most of the times there's a single packet that is lost. Okay. Many packets are getting lost in a TCP will not do fast retransmission. It will go for slow start. Okay. Because it will assume that there's congestion. If there's congestion, then it will start with slow start. Okay. Because it wants to reduce the load on the network. Yeah. So, to answer your question, it will start with slow start. Okay. Start with slow start in order if there's a congestion that is noticed. Now, like I told you, we are not going into mobile computing into the depth of your TCP and how it deals with it. So yeah, there are other methods wherein you must have studied all these other parts where, okay, TTLs, all this that you are studying. So I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, okay, but from the point of mobile computing, we're not going into the depth like I told you. We are only looking at how the TCP needs to be modified, okay, with respect to your wired networks and wireless networks. So we are looking at TCP only from that point of view. So yeah, students, are you having any questions about this? Okay, let me stop the recording and take your attendance, and then you can stop.